Thank you everyone for attending the service in honor of Mochi. In July, we were at Lake George and we noticed that Mochi started having trouble breathing. We drove 200 miles an hour down the highway to get to the nearest pet hospital, which was an hour away. We admitted Mochi and found out that she had a rare disease called idiopathic chylus effusion. With this disease, the thoracic duct doesn't work properly, which causes a strawberry milky thick fluid to build up in her lungs. The fluid was drained from her lungs, and we were told that it would come back within a week. We got to spend precious time with Mochi that we wouldn't have been able to if it wasn't for our quick action in getting her to the pet hospital. We got her lungs drained of fluid one last time a week later and took her home and spoiled her with our love and had people visit her one last time. Thank you to Lynette and Ricky and their dog Major, to Maggie and Tora and Jan and Jen and her dog Maverick for visiting with Mochi in her final days. On July 28th, Mochi was put to rest surrounded by her people, Sabrina and Marlena. Mochi had a good life, and even though she was only 3, experienced what a 15-year-old dog would experience in a lifetime of 3 years.
Mochi came into my life in December of 2020 when my mom and her boyfriend Charlie and I decided to get a Shiba Inu. I picked out the dog online and Charlie went to pick up the dog in Pennsylvania. When I first laid eyes on Mochi, I noticed that she was a different color than the one I picked out online, but I immediately fell in love with Mochi and knew that we were going to bond. I asked Charlie about the different colors of Mochi and he said that the breeder said they changed colors. I later found out that that was a lie and Charlie had picked out a different dog than I chose online. This was the best lie that ever happened because Mochi was the best thing that happened to me. When we moved to Connecticut, Mochi met her neighbors, Mary, Carol, and Shell, and we all took her for walks. Mochi had high energy, and whenever she went off leash, when my mom and I were walking her, sometimes it would be hard to get her back on the leash. One time we were at my aunt's and uncle's house, and my mom took her off leash. She stayed around us for 2 hours, and she got excited and ran into the road alongside a car, almost under a car. She then crossed the street and ran on the field like no one was mad or worried. Her smile when she was free to run without constraint overpowers any frustration that might have been generated as a result of her not listening to us. One time Shell and I were walking Mochi and she went poop and I had forgotten a poop bag. Luckily I had a mask and on hand and used the mask to pick up the poop. What I love about Mochi is that she was a smart dog that would smile at everything, and even though she didn't understand human thoughts of, I don't want to do this, she saw our emotions of love overpowering thoughts of annoyance. Mochi was always there for me as an emotional support animal. One day I was sad and cried because I missed Mochi because Charlie had her. My mom called Charlie and he met us in Enfield so we could pick up Mochi. Mochi was mine for good after that. On a daily basis, I would get on my knees and cuddle with Mochi and kiss her forehead in increments of 30 times, sometimes every 5 minutes. She would make little dog sounds of showing her love for her people. When my grandma died, I saw her last breath, and when I got to the hotel room after she passed away, Mochi was there to greet me. Mochi did her job well as an emotional support puppy, and I remember memories of Mochi playing with Major and Maverick at the dog park. Mochi and the dogs at the dog park would act like dogs, humping each other, licking each other, and of course pooping for other people to pick up after them. Because of Mochi's exposure to playing with a variety of male dogs, one time she lifted her leg up and tried to pee like a male dog. I think she figured that wouldn't work, so I never saw her do it again. Mochi never liked swimming. She would always be afraid of water. But one time she almost went fully in when her black lab friend Essie got her to go into the water after her. I miss when Mochi would eat my bagels in the car, and after I tried to hide it from her when we went to stores. I miss Mochi altogether. She was a special dog. My mom and I would bring her to trails throughout the area, such as Quarry Park and the Little Trail on Middletown Ave. Up until the end, she always would be her best self for her people, and like many dogs, she would hide anything that was wrong. When we were taking her to the vet for one last time, she had her last pup cup at Starbucks. She sat with us between the seats and licked her pup cup. Mochi would always sit in between the front seats. On long trips, she would place her head on our laps or place her head on our shoulders and make her noises. I will always love and remember you, Mochi. Your spirit is always with us. Love, Sabrina.
That's beautiful. So
My goodness. Ooh, I need a minute after that. Okay. Oh. All right, so Mochi Moch. Where do I begin? Mochi helped us through a huge transition in life. With chaos and uncertainty, she was there with us through it all, grounding us, loving us, reminding us of sunrises, sunsets, and stars at night. There were many times I didn't want to take her out for that bedtime pee, but once I got outside, it's like, whoa, look at those stars. She came everywhere with us through this transition, and thank goodness she liked the car. From Connecticut to Massachusetts to be with my mom while her health was declining, and then her passing, and back and forth to clean out her apartment. Well, I might as well just mention all of the places that she went with us and places she stayed. So there was the Bay Road house in Hatley, where she first fell in love with wooded trails and trails in the woods and ponds and streams, and she met her best dog friend, Esme. And also in Hatley, she was a retail puppy and would greet customers at Valley Bikes and Ski Works. She loved all the customers except for the short little ones who smothered her and got in her face. And from that point forward, she always ran from kids. But she loved adults. So Graham's apartment, where she always recognized where we were as soon as we walked through the door. So Mochi would run up the stairs, run right to my mom's door, and run inside to enthusiastically say hi to her. The Killington condo up in Vermont, where she got to run on one of her favorite snowy trails, which was the Ski Home Trail, and where she also got to run on part of the Appalachian Trail at Kent Pond. Then there was the camp up at the lake, where she would play for hours in the sandy beach. And once she got used to it, the end of the dock. She was scared at first to go out there, but she would run out to the end of the dock to watch us kayak when she wasn't in the kayaks with us. That was the first place she learned to kayak. Then over to the bung up at the lake, where she would run around in the fenced-in backyard and once escaped off her leash, causing us great angst as she ran up the middle of the road, right up the yellow line. And one time when Scott and Val's kittens were there, she liked to look at Tucker through the sliding glass door. One other place up at the lake was the quarters, where she was such a good dog, the best dog ever. She loved to go to the little beach and docks down there, and I would take her there in the evening and after it got dark when there weren't any other people around. But her favorite place up at the lake was Dog Beach in the Village. We would run up and down that sandy beach back and forth, and she always had a big smile on her face. And if you want to see her smiles after, there's plenty of pictures of her and her smile on the table over there. So we would run up and down that sandy beach, and sometimes she would venture into the water, but not too deep, not deeper than her legs, because she never liked the water. She was afraid of the water. Even in the bathtub, we had very challenging times giving her baths. And thank goodness at Mill Street, there was a corner tub, a little jacuzzi tub. So I would end up filling the water. We had to close the door and be quiet filling up the water so she wouldn't hear it. And I would end up getting in the tub, sitting on the little seat in the corner. Sabrina would be standing outside. It took just two of us to give her a bath. But then afterwards, she loved it, and she would run around and dry herself off, right? She, felt real good afterwards. So a couple other trails up at the lake, which turns out she went to a few places up there. Gurney Mountain Bike Park, where she first would go mountain biking with me and would run after the bike. And there was the Pilot Knob Preserve Trail, where once she made it all the way up to the top to the gazebo and ran around up there. So moving on to the tiny house, which was quite an adventure, where there were 80 acres of trails in the woods, and she loved to run off leash through the woods, and again, follow me on the mountain bike. And that's where I had to buy a reflective vest for her so the hunters wouldn't shoot her running around in the woods. Chimney Peak was quite the experience as well. She loved the cute little condo, which was conveniently located right next to the door to go outside, so I could take her out at night to pee and in the morning before skiing. There was also a great snowshoeing trail that she loved there, especially when it was covered with snow. And once in the fall, I walked all the way over to one of the ski trails, and she loved it so much she just ran straight up the ski trail way ahead of me. One time, spur of the moment, Sabrina and I decided to hop in the car and drive down to Maryland. We ended up at Scott Colvin's for New Year's Eve. And Mochi came with us. And good thing he had a great backyard for peeing and pooping, and a nearby park with soccer fields that we could run around in. Then I took her to Georgia with me, as if Maryland wasn't far enough. So she was such a good puppy, best dog ever. I found dog parks at rest areas, and actually some hotels have dog parks now. And once when the traffic was backed up, I saw a sign that just said something National Park, and I just decided to pull off. So we went to this national park, ran around on some trails, got back in the car, and by the time we were done with that, the traffic had cleared up. Then back to Maryland on the way home to stay with Ty and Richard. They had a great yard to pee and poop in as well. So we can't forget the time that Sabrina and I went to West Virginia. And Mochi stayed in the hotel with us, which was on the first floor. And while we were in the conference, I would go check on her on breaks and lunch, and there were nice dirt roads around, so I could take her for walks. But she got really good at staying at hotels and going places with us. But the place she stayed the longest was at Mill Point Condo, where she learned to ride an elevator, go down the flights of stairs to the garage, run down the hallway to see if the neighbors were home. And she also learned how to go up to the community room and run around outside on the roof, which got her in trouble once because when she came back in, she jumped on the couch and got her little paw prints all over the couch. Luckily, they came out easily. And it was here that we met our neighbors that Sabrina mentioned that became our friends. And some other things she liked to do there at the condo was chase Oreo around, who taught her how to take cat naps on the bed, and go outside on the balcony where she lounged in the sun and would watch the squirrels run around in the trees. So I didn't realize there were so many trails around the condo until I started looking. But one of our favorite places to go was the Weathersfield Dog Park in the morning because no one was there. I only liked that dog park when no one was there. Early in the morning, she could run around by herself. Then there was the Rocky Hill Dog Park, and that's where we went in the afternoon, where we met wonderful friends and wonderful dog friends. And the Quarry Park Trail was a favorite because I could let her off leash once in the quarry. Dividend Ponds was great, and then the River Highlands Trail where she chased me on my mountain bike. So that was a favorite too. But one of our go-tos was what we called the Little Trail, which was right down the street, so she didn't have to wait long in the morning to go pee and poop. And one more trail, there was the Glastonbury multi-use trail, which had wooded trails going off to the left and right of the trail. So, and all those trails were just within a few miles of the condo. So every morning I'd get in the car and I'd look at Mochi. She was sitting in the middle, as Sabrina said. I'm like, where do you want to go this morning, Mochi? And then intuitively we would decide together. She even got to try out the camper van, which she wasn't too fond of. It was way too big for her. She didn't feel comfortable in there, but she did come with us camping once. And she was so happy in the morning when we woke up and I looked down at her from the pop top in the camper. She couldn't wait to get out of there, but best smile ever. So once we were in the townhouse, we were close to the duck pond where she'd love to go, and we were much closer to the little trail. So all of this in 2.5 years. One of my favorite things with Mochi was walking and running on the snowy trails. Those were her favorite. It was her favorite season. She just loved the snow. And the best part of having Mochi was the emotional support she provided for us. If we were having a bad day, if we were sad about things, or grieving and missing Graham, she was there for us to give us loving kisses. She also celebrated with us. As soon as Sabrina and I would start jumping around, laughing, or being really excited, she would join in with her little airplane ears and her paws in the air, and that would lead to zoomies around the living room, and then we would all start chasing each other and running around the condo. So that was fun. And Mochi taught me about being a dog owner and what it means to be a dog person, and what it means to have a dog life, and how to love a dog. It was great to connect with her and look into those big brownish gold eyes. Putting her down was one of the most heart-wrenching things I've ever experienced in my life. But the fact that she's had such an adventurous life, and that I know she's alive and well over Rainbow Bridge, where Teddy met her to show her around, running on any trail she wants makes it better for me. I feel like her mission was to love humans and to get them to love her back, and she completed it pretty quickly. And you know that saying, who rescued who? Okay, so you're gonna read
Okay, I have some poems about Mochi that I wrote, and I would like to share them. There are acrostic poems, and each line starts with the letter of Mochi, like M-O-C-H-I. Here's the first one. Moving through the trees on falling branches, on top of the natural earth, calling us with barks, how sweet a little puppy was in her natural habitat. Mochi Moch, opening the bag of treats, constant appreciation of half-broken treats. I see a happy Mochi Moch. Mountains to flat trails, ocean sandy beaches to certain times of adventure. Hurry with the puppy, inside her heart she loves you. Motioning to her furry body, ongoing pain of saying goodbye. Certainly she will be running happily over the Rainbow Bridge. I leave the room. Mochi always loved the outdoors, where she would come and go as she pleased. Houses were where she slept. Inside a house and inside earth, she still loved us. Mohegan is where we gather, onto the emotion of honoring a lovely cat-like dog named Mochi, who is happy in her spiritual realm over the icy, fiery, and room temperature Rainbow Bridge.
Okay, so there was Oh, okay. So the summer after we put Mochi down, we went to Ammonasset once, and we did take Mochi there a couple times off season when it wasn't crowded, and she loved to run around on the beach. So this was just Sabrina and I were there on a weekend once. But I went for a walk and walking down the sand, half in the water, and I was thinking about Mochi and reminiscing and feeling sad, and I don't know if I was like asking for a sign or whatever, but all of a sudden I saw like her face in the sky, right? It's like this big head up in the sky in the clouds, and it kind of felt peaceful. You know, that was like, I felt like that was kind of a message. And there was one other time when I was walking on the little trail and sat on the bench, and I was thinking, you know, just show me a sign. You know, just if I look over, maybe I'll see like an animal run by or something like that. And all of a sudden I felt this paw on my chest. And my heart expanded. You guys, I can't see your face. That's because it's making me cry. Okay, yeah, so that paw on my chest and my, the immense feeling of love, you know, and it was totally unexpected, but her energy was like right there. I felt it, and it was pretty powerful, and I don't know if anyone's ever experienced something like that, but it felt really good. It was a good feeling. So, you know, she definitely taught me about love, unconditional love, so she was sweet. Okay,
So I'm gonna read something that Lynette wrote. She's present with us today. Mochi gave us so many memories. My favorite one is how Mochi brought us together to be friends. We met at the Rocky Hill Dog Park. My dog Teddy and Mochi had similar foxy faces, and we thought they were the most perfect dogs ever, and they were. We spent many great days together with our fur babies, laughing and watching them play. Mochi always looked like she was smiling. She is the sweetest dog I ever met. I believe Teddy was waiting for Mochi when she crossed over the Rainbow Bridge. Together forever, Mochi and Teddy.
thank you, Lynette.
Then I just want to read some of the statements and speeches that people wrote who couldn't be here today. So one of them is Maggie, my friend. Mochi was a very sweet dog. I remember going on some walks with her and Sabrina, and she was always happy to walk with us. I remember when I came to Sabrina's house, and she would always be happy to see me and wag her tail. I remember when I went to visit her when she was sick. She was still happy as ever, wagging her tail excitedly. She was a very lovable dog and will always be remembered. A former neighbor and friend, Mary Scott. Mochi was a sweet dog, but I must admit she could be stubborn. When I was asked to take her out for walks, she wasn't always ready to go out when I arrived. I had to sweet talk her to get her up from her nap. When I finally got her outside, she would not move, or she would lie down on the grass. But when we went back inside, she always wiped her feet on the doormat. And when we got off the elevator, she ran right to her door. She was a smart dog. Carol Scott, a former neighbor and friend. Mochi had a sweet disposition and was quick to make friends. What I will always remember about her was when Mary and I would come out in the hallway when she was coming back from a walk with her person, Mom, and she would run down the hallway to say hi to Mary and me. I miss that. Shell, a former neighbor and friend. Mochi was the most wonderful dog I ever met. I loved her. Tora Farabee, a friend from the dog park, and my friend. Mochi was always a sweet dog, and she brought happiness to everyone around her. She always had so much fun running around the dog park, even though my Rose would just sit and watch. She made everyone happy and was always willing to have a cuddle. She was such a sweet dog, and she will be missed by everyone around her. I love and miss you forever, Mochi. Rebecca Ann Church, a friend from the dog park and my friend. I'm sorry I can't make it. Mochi was a sweet dog. I loved her so much. Jane DeFeo Russo, a family friend. Mochi was one of the prettiest pups I've ever laid eyes on. I remember her running through the grass in upstate New York. One day Mochi didn't want to go inside and she was having too much fun. Marlena and Sabrina were relentlessly trying to get a hold of her, but she didn't let them until she was finished enjoying running free in the fresh air and sunshine. Blessings to you, sweet pup. Keep an eye out on your sister. She loves you dearly. Would anyone else like to stand up and speak about Mochi?
Great job.
Should I come up there?
Being tardy.
Want me to come up there?
Okay, yeah.
So Mochi, as you know, is a Shiba Inu, which I didn't really know much about, so I decided to look that up. So Wikipedia says the Shiba Inu is a small, medium breed of hunting dog from Japan. Its name literally translates to brushwood dog, as it is used to flush game. A small, alert, and agile dog that copes very well with mountainous terrains and hiking trails. The Shiba Inu was originally bred for hunting. A survey of experts classified the Shiba Inu as having high reactivity and medium trainability. A possible explanation for this and other observed behavior is that the Shiba Inu is more closely related to the wolf than domesticated dogs from other countries. Due to the high intelligence of the breed, it requires a lot of exercise and stimulation. Insufficient exercise can lead to anxiety, which leads to undesirable behaviors. The Shiba Inu is considered an alert, affectionate, and independent breed with high intelligence, but also somewhat stubborn and strong-willed, which we've talked about, which actually reminded me of a story that I don't know, Sabrina, if I ever told you about. So, I took care of Mochi for a few days when Marlena and Sabrina had to go away. Oh, sorry.
Speak up.
And Marlena and I had taken Mochi out into the trails behind the house, and I was very excited to be able to do this with her and let her run around. So the first day I take her out there, and I'd seen Marlena use the treats and call her, and Mochi would, eventually come back. So we get out there, and I take her off the leash, and she immediately runs the opposite direction. And so I was like, okay, it's okay. I'm just gonna, nonchalantly keep walking and hope that she'll follow me, which she did not. So I started calling her and offering treats, and she just was on her own journey. So she's running through the woods. I'm trying to run after her. She's going into the neighbor's yards. I'm chasing her through the neighbor's yard. We finally get back to my house, and she goes off through the hedge into the next neighbor's yard. And I'm thinking, I'm gonna have to call Marlena and tell her that I lost her dog on the first day. So I'm not, I'm sort of panicked and also a little annoyed at this point. I decided, well, I'm just gonna go into the house. So I walk up the back porch, open the door, and immediately as I walk in the house, Mochi comes running in behind me. So I was very thankful that she did that. But I think the thing I remember most about Mochi is the way that she made you just feel like the most special person in the world. After spending that time with her, when I would go to visit down in Connecticut, when she saw me, she would get so very excited, and it was just heartwarming. I remember one night I spent the night, and Mochi didn't realize that I was there. The next morning she saw me, and she did the same thing. She was just jumping around and just kissing, and she just was such a sweet dog, and I really miss her tremendously too.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
Does anyone else want to say something?
That was nice.
Yes.
Well, I have only had the opportunity of knowing Mochi for a very short time. And I saw her 3 times, and the 3 times she was energetic and wanted to go for a walk. And she was very sweet, and she loved her mama. And second time I saw her, we were up at Killington, and there was a lot of snow, and she just wanted to go walk. You know, she wanted to go walk in the snow. And the last time I saw her, we were just, I was just picking up something or dropping something off to Marlena, and she was walking Mochi, and Mochi came over, and she was just excited, and she was just a very sweet dog. Just a very sweet dog. And unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to spend enough time with her, you know. But as dogs go, she's right up there.
Thank you, Rachel. Anyone else? Okay, so I got a little message that I wrote down, so. Hi, it's Mochi. I'm so glad my people are doing this for me. It gives me a chance to say how I feel. I'm so sorry our time together was short on Earth in your time, but we are all such fast learners. We learned our lessons fast. So thank you for helping me complete my mission quickly. My mission of helping people, loving them, and getting them to love me back. And Mom, you fell hard. And we all did it in such a short period of time. And Sabrina, you were the best cuddler ever. I want you to know that I'm happy and free, running all over my favorite trails in the woods here. Teddy was here to show me the ropes. And there's an abundance of snow. All I have to do is think about snowy trails and they appear. Oh, and Graham's here too. She likes to take me to the islands up at the lake, and we don't even need a boat, we just fly there. And I love how I was only away from my people 2 times, but I stayed with the best people ever. Once was with Jen, was with my friend Jen Weaver, who has an awesome trails in her backyard, and I ran off leash once and got her so nervous. But I came back, and once to stay with Teddy and Major at Lynette's, who has the best fenced-in backyard ever. And Major and I were wide awake in the middle of the night once at like 3 o'clock, and so Lynette got up and led us out the back to run around in the backyard, and that was so much fun. So I love my people so much and have the best dog life ever with you. And Mom, I'm with you every time you walk on our trails and reminisce. There. Okay.
Well, that concludes the service. Thank you everyone for coming. I hope you all have a good day.
Thank you, that was so
Thank
wonderful.
you everyone.